Hello guys, it's 899 here and welcome to today's video, and this is going to be the most important video I make of this preseason, obviously up until the start of the NRL. It is my predictions on what the ladder will look at the end of the 2023 NRL regular season, from 17th being the wooden spoon all the way up to the minor premiers. Hopefully try to do better than I did last year. I think I went okay in the grand scheme of things in terms of predictions, but I will say, bit of admin, this is purely my opinion. Who would have thought opinions exist? But I will say there is going to be a little bit of doozies. I've gone a little bit bold with some of my predictions here, and you're going to see them throughout the video. So without further ado, we should immediately start and go into it. Starting out with number 17. Who is getting the wooden spoon? There's a lot of contenders, but this one might shock some people on who I think is going to get the wooden spoon. I think it's going to be the St. George Illawarra Dragons. Now, before you pull your hammers out, put them down. Please put them down. Thank you. Basically, the way I'm currently seeing at the moment with this St. George Dragons situation is there is a massive toxic atmosphere currently at the club. And I understand that people are going to be saying it's like, yeah, but toxic atmospheres aren't a complete decider on how teams are going to go bad. I do also feel like some of their recruiting and some of the players they've lost haven't really been replaced in sort of a sense, but I feel like the whole that plus the toxic atmosphere is pretty much the exact same issues that plagued the West Tigers last year and saw them get into that position. So I don't know. I just feel like the Dragons are gonna. I don't want it to happen, but it's just I feel like they're going to be in for a very bad season, and I honestly think they can get the spoon. Now we're going into the bottom four, technically, below, just above the wooden spoon, starting out with number 16, and I'm going to go with the Redcliffe Dolphins. Now, obviously, them being the expansion team, a lot of people are going to have them near the bottom. I think a lot of them are going to have them in that wooden spoon area. I think they've done enough recruiting, and they've got Wayne Bennett as a coach, so they should be fine. I think they could finish a little bit higher, but yeah, I think putting him in that bottom four area probably would fit and be all right. I think avoiding the spoon would be a success for the club for their first season. Now moving on to 15th position, still into the bottom four, and I'm going to put in the New Zealand Warriors. Like, I know this is going to be their first full season back in New Zealand, but it's, for me, it's just, I feel they've added to their forward pack really well. I think Mitch Barnett is a good signing for them. But I'm not so sure about how their attack is going to go. Obviously, Reece Walsh a big loss, but they also did get Nicole Clockstead from the Canberra Raiders. So it's a team that there is a lot of questions about. I want them to do well. If the Knights weren't in the comp, I would probably end up supporting the Warriors. But it's just, I don't really see them moving up, unfortunately. Now going into the number 14th position, and I am going to go with the Canberra Raiders. Very much a bit of a shock that they did end up making the finals last year. Obviously, Brisbane utterly collapsed, and the Canberra Raiders ended up beating Melbourne, but they did end up getting belted by Parramatta in the semi-final. But I don't know, I feel like, again, with Canberra, it's just, I'm not the biggest fan of their recruiting, and I do feel like Nicole Clockstead leaving is going to be a bit of a problem. I feel like a lot of teams in these positions have gotten better, probably not to the same extent than teams like Canberra and the Warriors have done. So that's where I feel like the Canberra Raiders are going to be. Moving in now to round out the bottom four. Into number 13th, I'm actually going to go with the West Tigers. Now, obviously the West Tigers came last year, and they have made some trades and some signings. Obviously, oh god, what's his name? Upper Coruscant, when he's not dunking on them, they're actually He seems to be very good into the forwards. I'm a little bit worried about with Jackson Hastings leaving, but you obviously got Clemmer in there, where on his day he is a very decent second rower or prop. I think he's prop actually, yeah. I don't even know my own team, but basically, I think like the forward pack is going to be really good for the Tigers this year. Not so sure about their attack, but I think they're going to do fairly well compared to what they did last year, so that's going to round out the bottom four. And now we go on to the teams that are going to just miss out. So starting out in 12th position, I'm going to go with the Manly Seagulls. Obviously, they had a very poor run of form at the tail end of the season, whether or not it was about rainbows or jerseys or whatever. Who knows what happened there. But obviously Anthony Seibold now as the coach. And there's also a lot of turmoil during the offseason as well. Obviously, Tom Trbojevic is now over in America. Getting Trbojevic up is the best move for him because he did injure his hamstring during the preseason. So hopefully he does get better and is able to play the full season. But for me, it's just, I just think there's a little, I think there's just a little bit too much turmoil in the sheds, and I don't think there's going to be, I don't think they're going to try and, they're going to try to challenge for the finals, but I just don't think they're going to actually like look close. I think there's going to be a bunch of other teams that are going to be a lot closer. That's why I'm putting Manly in this 12th spot. Now going into 11th, and I'm going to put the Gold Coast Titans. So obviously Kieran Foran being coming in, which is actually another thing that to be brought up with Manly. That Kieran Foran's going to be is a fairly decent signing there for the Titans. Greg Marju leaving is, I feel like, is going to have a fair amount of more impact than I think people are going to think, because Greg Marju was one of the main attackers. Obviously, he's one of the wingers for the Titans. I do know that there is a little bit of rumours of apparently Fafita maybe going to the Raiders, or I don't know if that's actually going to happen or not. I think he's probably going to stay in the Gold Coast, but yeah, I just feel like with the Titans, they're going to keep improving with this, whatever this 10-year 2 premiership goal is, but I just personally think they're going to be lying just short of the finals. Now moving into 10th place, and I'm actually going to put the Newcastle Knights in, my team. So the Knights have been doing some art of the deal trades at the moment. So we've got Jackson Hastings being traded for David Clemmer. We've got Tyson Gamble from the Brisbane Broncos. We have signed Greg Marju with a trade for Chris Randall. And I think we also have Will Price, and I forgot the name of them. The two English boys that we saw. It's like Price and, oh god, I actually have to search it up. I'm such a shit Knights fan. Pierce, Paul, and Price. That's it. Yeah, obviously coming in 2024. I feel like that it's going to be a reason for this, potentially, whether or not if Dom Young gets picked up by another club, which I feel like is going to be likely. But yeah, the Knights, I don't know, it's kind of hard. I'm slightly optimistic about the Knights this year, which people who watch this channel know that doesn't exist. But I don't know, I think the Knights can go alright this year. I think they will be in this area of battling for the finals. I think they're going to wind up just short though, but I am hopefully expecting the Knights to actually improve for this season. And going out with the 9th place team, the team that will just miss the finals, and it's going to be a big one, I'm putting the Sydney Roosters in 9th place. Bit of controversy, I obviously feel in that call, but there is a lot of those teams. The teams from basically 5th and 8th was really, really close. Obviously, you had Brisbane then fall out at the last minute, and then you've got teams like the Bulldogs and the Broncos who are very much going to be challenging for the top of this year, and I feel like one of these teams had to miss out, and I feel like the Roosters are going to be one of them. Obviously, they have signed Brandon Smith to the team, which is going to be very good for them, but I just feel like it's going to be an off-season for them. I mean, they kind of did have a little bit of an off-season last year, obviously being knocked out in the knockouts, the first game of the knockouts, but I feel like Takiaho leaving is going to be actually very, very bad for them, I think, and it's like, I haven't really brought anyone else to really like prop up their forward pack with and try to replace them. So yeah, I'm gonna And all from that, I'm going to basically say that, yeah, I don't think I think the Roosters will be the team that will miss out on the finals. Now we go into the top 8, and if it wasn't the Roosters I was going to be in there, I just revealed who it was. I think in 8th place is going to be the Melbourne Storm. This is probably the weakest Storm team that we've probably seen ever. Like, I'm very interested to see how Tarek Sims goes, especially under Bellamy. I think he should have a good year. Still think the Storm will make the finals, but it's obviously with the amount of talent that has left the club, it's going to be interesting to see them hang on. I still think they'll make the finals, but yeah. Now we're going into 7th place, so we've got the Cronulla Sharks. Obviously, really weird how they actually came second. Like, they just won their games, and it's like no one was really talking about it because it was primarily just Penrith and the Cowboys. But yeah, Cronulla was there. Obviously, Cronulla also losing both of their finals games, losing to the Cowboys and South Sydney. I don't know. I think they're going very well in terms of holding on to majority to a significant amount of their players, and I think they'll still be in that finals push. But again, a bunch of teams are starting to push up, so I feel like they're going to drop down just a little bit, but they'll still make the finals. And speaking of one of the teams that is going to come up, who were not in the finals last year and will be in the finals this year, at 6th place is going to be the Brisbane Broncos. Last year, the end of last year, the Broncos fumbled a guaranteed final spot. It was like they lost a unlosable finals push. And obviously, they've realised need to get their attack sorted. Reece Walsh coming in is going to be big for them. Obviously, there is a little bit of weird issues going on at the club at the moment. TC Rabadi has been laid off. But and then there's personal issues with other players, which we won't get into. But I do feel like that the team is going to be good enough and push through. You got Tamari Martin's going to be brilliant. Basically, the Brisbane have got probably arguably the most exciting young team probably in the comp. It's going to be very exciting to see how they go for this year. And rounding out the bottom of the top 8 to go in 5th place, it is going to be the grand finals from last year, the Parramatta Eels. Parramatta have lost a couple of players. Brimani being one of the main ones, going technically defecting to the enemies, going to the Bulldogs. It's going to be, I don't know. It's just, and I know that there's obviously the talks of was that Parramatta's last chance with this core? But I feel like them not getting I feel like if they didn't get the job, if they did get the job done, I should say, if they did win last year, I feel like, I don't know, maybe they probably continue, but I feel like maybe the wins might be out of their sails, and I'll probably finish 8th, which is, I mean, exactly where they finished last year. So I think it's a pretty good estimate of where I think they're going to be. Going into the top 4 now, and at 4th place, it is going to be the South Sydney Rabbitohs, though I do know it is the Chinese Year of the Rabbit 2023. That's I don't know if that's going to be symbolism for anything, but again, it's like you can't go wrong with the Souths team. You really can't go wrong. Obviously, Latrell now working for Fox League. That's going to be interesting, but it's a Souths are just a very solid team, and I just feel like they're just going to keep going with their with them obviously trying to get back into proper title contention. I think their attacks can stay strong. Obviously, they haven't really gained anybody, but I do feel obviously there's still probably maybe a little bit of time before they can bring someone in. But I feel like with the development at the moment, it's going to be pretty good for the Rabbitohs. Now going into 3rd place, and it is going to be the Canterbury Bulldogs. I swear to God, if the Bulldogs don't make the finals this year, there is something horribly wrong. You're telling me you got Addo Carr, Matt Burton, now you've got Valami Kikau alongside Tavita Pangai Jr. That should be top 4. I hope it just doesn't collapse in any way, shape, or form. I think the Bulldogs, they're going to come back hard, and I genuinely think they are contenders for the title this year. And I don't know if that's going to be controversial to say, but yeah, Bulldogs top 4. Now we come down to 2nd and 1st. Who do I think is going to get the minor premiership? And for me, this might be a bit, again, another bit of controversy. I predict the North Queensland Cowboys will win the minor premiership for 2023. Obviously, the Penrith Panthers going to come in second. For me, it's that I feel like, yeah, obviously Penrith have got the best development in the entire NRL. Like literally all of their grades won everything. Like, it's very hard to say that they're not going to be successful. They have lost a considerable amount of players though in the obviously in the off season, but obviously there's the salary cap increase, which is definitely not just to make sure Penrith keep all of their top players. I don't know, but I feel like the Cowboys have done well. James Tamau going back to the Cowboys, I think, is going to be really good for his career. You've also got Jeremiah Shibasaki, obviously, going from Newcastle, but I believe it's via from Mackay. It's going to be a very interesting year to see how it goes. Obviously, the Cowboys are missing Tobias Fido, as he's now playing for Redcliffe. But yeah, I feel that like the Cowboys just have the stronger team. And I know that sounds weird, but it's like the amount of players that Penrith have lost. I'm just going to pull it up on into here. You got Abasai Kurasau, Valami Kikau, Robert Jennings, Jermaine Hopgood, Sean O'Sullivan, Charlie Staines, and Christian Crichton. Players that predominantly featured in the 2022 season, which helped them win back-to-back. And it's just... I still think, and I'm going to bring this up, I do think Penrith will win the grand final. They will go and do a three-peat, exactly mirroring Parramatta back in the 80s. But it's just, for the regular season, I just think the Cowboys are just going to have the stronger team throughout the entire season and think they're going to win the minor premiership. So, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That is my season predictions for the 2023 NRL season. Obviously, a lot of people are going to have differences. What do you guys think will happen for your team and any other team, really? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all later.